Hello, my name is Rex the Dog, or Rex Rebel Heart, or I used to go by Rex Hunting Dog quite a bit. And I am a furry YouTuber. I stream on Twitch. I'm in a furry punk rock band called Howl and Defy. You can hear some of my music playing right now. And I've been wanting to make this video for a little while now to talk about my experiences at a furry convention, the first edition of a furry convention here in my adoptive home of Madrid that happened at the start of this month, that happened May 2025 here in Madrid, called Ibercon. And I got really, really positive things to say about it. I've got a ton of footage, which I'm gonna play here in the corner, just kind of randomly on shuffle. And I'll probably share more of that footage later. Maybe I'll do like a music video or something like that, because I got a bunch of cool videos that probably a bunch of people are gonna kick out of and try and find themselves in them or whatever. But I'm gonna give my opinions on Ibercon, which in May 2025, Madrid became like sort of the heart of Spain's furry community. And the Iberian Peninsula in general, as you can take from the name Ibercon. So Ibercon made its debut and it brought together a bunch of furries from here, both in Spain, and also furries from the community in Portugal, which the organizers linked it really, really closely with. And not just that, but other people from across Europe. So bringing together like this long weekend, this, I think it was a 4-day con, May 1st to May 4th. And it was a really, really good time. So I've got positive things to say about Ibercon in its first edition. So I wanted to kind of just like put that out there for if you're curious about whether you want to show up to the convention in 2026, because they said they're going to do it again. And to sort of say thank you to people who attended, whether they were like attendees who hung out with me, or whether they were just other people contributing to the vibe in the background, or they were staff, or whatever the hell. Right? So let's talk about Ibercon 2025. It was held, as I said, May 1st to 4th in Rafael Hoteles, here in Madrid, in Atocha, in the center of Madrid. And it marked, for me, somebody who's, lived in this adoptive home now for this stint for, like nearly 6 years consecutively. It marked for me like, oh, this is one of like the biggest kind of like furry events, furry conventions that we've had here in Spain. And I thought it was great. Organized by like a new non-profit group who like, I think they announced it in like, I know like the October, there was like a tweet in October, and then the event happened in May, so something that kind of like, to us as kind of like forward-facing customers or whatever, just sort of like emerged, and it came together really quickly and became a real thing. It's really easy for people to say like, oh, I'm gonna do something, or I'm gonna whatever, but to actually kind of like get on and do it, and actually act, and be punk rock and put something together is something that's quite rare, and it's something that's incredibly difficult to do. That video's upside down, whatever. I'm really, really impressed by the fact that it happened. And then on top of that, it happened and it was, to my eyes and a lot of people who attended, like incredibly, incredibly successful. Like a really, really successful event. So I'm gonna try and talk about the insights of types of things that I experienced and the stuff that I saw and whatever. So had all kind of your usual furry convention sort of stuff, art exhibitions, fursuit parades, like vendor hall dealers down, panels, social events, whatever. Which of course all the stuff you sign up for, stuff that's really, really enjoyable, really, really fun. Felt like a really community-driven, focused event, sort of prioritizing the like cultural engagement of people over profit. Felt really sort of community driven, which kind of really, strongly resonates with the furry fandom's just general ethos of, what I call punk rock, what I call DIY, of creativity and collaboration and stuff like that. I thought the location, in Madrid it's a really, I've been living in Madrid by choice, by, my election for the past nearly 6 years. And it's like a vibrant, accessible capital city, so a really good backdrop for something like this, and with, you know, the hotel specifically being so centrally located, it touches like the main train station in Madrid. It's the train station you drive past in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Pack. And yeah, really, really centrally located, so it like offers like, you know, for people traveling, because conventions aren't just about like, oh hey, like let's go do stuff in the con hall. You've also got all the joys of visiting a new city and checking out what you have there as well. And so being somewhere that's so like centrally located, like that hotel, it gives people an opportunity to be like, oh, I'm gonna go like check out like this park's nearby, we can go there and take fursuit photos, or we can go here, we can go to this bar, we can go try these foods. Like it offers like a lot of convenient amenities which are really real nearby, outside of just the hotel, which was a good hotel for like convention activities. Like this space up here you can see in the top, like the outside that just kind of flashed on, that area was really, really good. They had this nice kind of like, you know, patio, whatever you want to call it, outside, which was a really, really nice space. You know, when you're in a country like Spain, and it's cool to be outside, you know. Really, really good space there to just kind of like hang out with people, vibe, you know, take photos, whatever. I thought that was really good. That was like the real sort of like highlight of the space for me, because okay, cool, it's got the convention rooms and whatever, you kind of get those anywhere, but to have that like nice big space out there we could kind of hang out, I thought was great. And the overall convention, I would really say that I had a really, really solid time. Really, really solid time. I met like so many new people, you know, made loads of new friends, you know, connected with people who I've kind of like, you know, talked to online or whatever before. Really, really cool. Just like did so much stuff, made so many friends, met so many cool people, saw so many cool suits, which was like a vibe as well. Had a lot of fun to just sort of like be Rex and whatever, and all my interactions with people were like really, really super positive. Whether that was like other attendees, or whether that was, you know, people staying in the hotel, people who had a day pass, people who were there for the whole weekend, staff members, all that sort of thing. Everybody was really a vibe, and if there was any bad vibes at the convention, as like a forward-facing, you know, attendee, as a customer, none of that kind of like came back to me. So if there was any problems or whatever, they were clearly dealt with, because none of that, you know, negatively affected the vibes of what we had going on there. Everybody was there to just like hang out, you know, have a good time, dance together, you know, make memories, whatever, all that sort of thing. So on that sort of front, it was a real success based on the sort of people that it attracted, and then the vibe it cultivated while there. So a real shout out to all of the attendees. I think there's about 500 people there. So a nice sort of like community feel, you know, and not something kind of like exhausted or like exacerbating queues or anything like that. That was really, really cool. There were a couple of hiccups in terms of like organization and stuff like that, but like honestly, when it's like, you know, an event like first edition and does a really good vibe and stuff like that, you can kind of take stuff in good faith and have understanding of just like, oh hey, there's like a bunch of people like trying to put on a show here, they've put on a big event for all of us, and okay, there are a couple of things where, you know, a couple of events got delayed or switched around, or, you know, little moments of confusion like that. It's kind of like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't really have to be turned into a big deal. So when there are such good vibes like that, and, you know, fun atmosphere, and, you know, they had like, you know, they had mascots for the convention who were in fursuit and running around to interact with people and stuff like that, like it just, you know, you're kind of forgiving of any slight little hiccups that may or may not happen during the event. Talking about the staff again, I think the staff were really, really kind and sort of understanding and stuff like that. Sometimes you go to events and there are like staff members who are sort of, you know, maybe it's because I'm really stressed out or whatever, I don't know, but they're sort of like exercising their power and a bit like blah, 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 blah. The staff members were like a total vibe here. They're very understanding, they're very friendly, they always like had a smile and they always had patience for you, and so in return you're kind of like, it's very easy to give patience back, you know what I mean? They were able to just kind of be understanding and, you know, whenever need be, you know, it's something might be like, oh, can I go over there for a moment? And they're like, oh, well, yeah, sure, okay, yeah. You know, they'd be on site, can I sit here? I need a break. It's like, oh, well, these seats are closed, but it doesn't seem like a problem. Sure you can, you know? So there was a lot of just kind of like a level of understanding and trust that came from all of the staff, which I really appreciated. I think that things like the fursuit lounge and stuff like that were really well put together, really well secure, you know, well ventilated, well stocked, all that sort of thing. I had a really good time. I'm definitely going to come back to the next edition that they do. They're going to do like a 1980s themed. No, they're not doing 1980s themed. I'm talking about my ass. They're going to do a 2000s themed, which is like badass. So you can kind of go all like pop punk or like scene kid or whatever during that. Like that looks sick to me. Yeah, they're doing like a 2000s one. People are talking about like bringing Tamagotchis and stuff. I think there's a lot of stuff in this convention of kind of like spontaneous fun as well and stuff like that. There was like a real nice community theme of like, you know, people were getting together and playing games of like Magic the Gathering, or people were playing like, you know, like DS download play and stuff like that. And, you know, I think the more that sort of stuff, like those spontaneous kind of like chill little fun activities that, you know, all these kind of like nerds in the furry fandom enjoy doing, I think like the more leaning into that in future editions as well would be and will be super cool, because I'm sure it will kind of grow. I thought the Portuguese friends I made and the Portuguese people I met were like an absolute love, and it was so cool to interact with a bunch of people who, you know, I usually don't. You know, I'm somebody who's, you know, lived in different countries, and I live here because I love experiencing different cultures and stuff like that. So just an opportunity to like integrate like an entire community, like the Portuguese community, into this event, I thought was really, really cool. And I really, really appreciated it. But yeah, I'm excited for more of this. I'm excited to like hopefully keep in touch with people that I met. It was so fun to like go around as Rex and like be, you know, interacting with people as Rex, and people being like, oh yeah, dude, like I've seen you before, and people being like super friendly and people asking for pictures and all that sort of thing. Like that was like a total vibe. If I said hello to you or you said hello to me even, and it seemed like maybe you were just like, I couldn't hear you or whatever, like, you know, like, so if I appeared rude to anybody when I was in the fursuit, or I blanked anyone, I apologize, because that was probably just the consequences of wearing a giant foam dog head on your smaller human head. But yeah, no, dude, it was a total vibe. I'm excited to see what happens in the next event, see if there's anything I could even get involved in the next event. But yeah, I definitely like promote this as like a thing to check out. I thought this first edition was a vibe. I'm sure that the second edition will be as well. This is funny, it was like two of me on screen at the same time. It's just like, how much of this do you need? Yeah, that's just a ramble from me. Unscripted, man, unscripted. Check out Ibercon. Go follow them on their socials or whatever, so you can stay tuned about the announcements that get put forth for the 2026 edition. I'll be there, so if you want to see me and you want to hang out with me and you want to do goofy ass stuff with me, I'll be there. And of course, I'm always around. You know, you can always say hello to me. If you want to like keep in touch with Rex the dog, with me, I always have a bunch of links. I have a bunch of descriptions, a bunch of links in the description below of like, I've got like a Telegram channel, I post on Twitter a lot, there's a Discord group, I stream on YouTube and Twitch like basically every day. We draw together, we do stuff in fursuit, we cook, we work out, we play games, we do karaoke, we do like a bunch of stuff. So if you're interested in any of that kind of stuff, you know, come check me out. I'm gonna be releasing more stuff like from like my music soon and that kind of thing. So stuff's happening, man. Stuff's happening in the Rex Rebel Heart sort of extended universe. But yeah, whether you stayed here to like hang out with me, or you stayed out and listened to me, or you stayed out to just kind of watch this footage or whatever, I hope you had a kind of good time. I'll share more of this footage in the future because, as I said, I've got like an ass ton of it. I've got a load of it. Go support Ebercon. Go support Ebercon because it was sick. Good vibes. Good vibes. Good people. Good atmosphere. Good location. And you know, for that being like their first edition that they chucked together in like a year, or you know, however long they were kind of planning that behind the scenes, dude, that was pretty damn impressive. So I'm sure Volume 2 is gonna be even better. But peace and love from me, moi. Like and subscribe. That's what people say on YouTube now. Peace out.